Welcome back to Andersen Acres. Today we're talking about a goat breed that most people outside of India have probably never heard of, the Assam Hill Goat. And that's kind of a shame, actually, because this little powerhouse of a breed deserves a lot more recognition than it gets. It's tough, it's resourceful, and it's living proof that not all great goats come from a glossy magazine page or big name breeding programs. Some of them thrive quietly in the hills, working hard and doing what goats do best, adapting. The Assam Hill Goat comes from, as you might guess, the hilly regions of Assam, which is tucked up in the northeastern corner of India. This is a place of thick forests, steep slopes, humid air, and rainfall that would make even a duck raise an eyebrow. It's not gentle country, and yet this breed has carved out a life there, becoming one of the most important livestock animals for small farmers in that region. I know, Arwen. Unlike some of the flashier breeds we talk about here, the ones bred for record-breaking milk production or extravagant coats, those kind, the Assam Hill Goat was built for survival. It's not about show points or pedigree here. This breed evolved under real-world conditions. And what mattered most was whether it could thrive on limited feed, whether it could fend off disease, and whether it could keep producing even when the weather wasn't cooperating. I know, Arwen. Physically, they're medium-sized goats. You won't find the long, flowing locks of an Angora or the giant frames of a boar here. Their coats are short and coarse, perfectly suited for hot, humid weather. Colors vary, black, brown, white, and every combination in between. But their sturdy legs and compact frames make them natural climbers. These goats don't need pampering or a perfectly manicured pasture. Give them a hillside, some brush, and a bit of space to wander about and live their best goat life, and they'll make the most of it. Now, the most remarkable thing about the Assam Hill Goat isn't its size or its looks, it's its hardiness. This breed has been shaped by its environment to handle conditions that would send a lot of other goats running for cover. The humidity alone in Assam would be enough to cause all kinds of hoof and skin issues in many imported breeds. But the Assam Hill Goat, well, he just keeps going. They're resistant to many of the local parasites and diseases, which means they need less medication, less vet intervention, and lower costs overall for small-scale farmers. That's important in that area of the world. The resistance and adaptability are part of what makes the breed so valuable. In an age where climate is unpredictable and it's affecting farmers around the world, having livestock that can roll with the punches is becoming more and more important. The Assam Hill Goat can do just that. And yes, I'm petting a goat right now. But the Assam Hill Goat can do all of those things. It doesn't need fancy infrastructure or specialized feed. It does well on rough forage and can find its own food in places where grass is just non-existent. Now, when it comes to production, this breed will not compare to your top dairy goats. They produce only small amounts of milk, enough for their kids, but not a ton. So, will you get some milk for your family? Sure. Will you get much? No. They do excel, however, at meat production. Their meat is lean, tender, and highly prized in local markets across Assam. Because they're smaller, the carcass size is modest, but the flavor more than makes up for it. It's a great example of quality over quantity. And here's something interesting. While they might not look like much to someone used to American or European breeds, the Assam Hill Goat plays a vital role in the livelihoods of small farmers in that region. These goats are often kept in small flocks, roaming the hillsides or the forest edges, and they provide meat, manure, and even a little extra income when they're sold at market. They reproduce easily and grow quickly enough that families can depend on them year after year. In fact, they've become so reliable that researchers and agricultural programs in India have looked into crossbreeding them with other regional goats to combine their hardiness with improved meat yield. It's one of those cases where local genetics are finally getting the appreciation they really deserve. because it turns out toughness is just as valuable a trait as high production numbers. For small-scale farmers outside of India, hobby farmers, homesteaders, and people like us who value sustainable, low-input animals, the Assam Hill Goat does have a lot of lessons to teach. While you might not be able to import one directly because they're not common outside their home region, understanding what makes them so successful can help guide your own herd choices. Breeds that can thrive in really tough conditions, that don't rely heavily on commercial feed or constant maintenance. These are the kind of animals that make a small farm or a hobby farm resilient. The Assam Hill Goat reminds us that efficiency doesn't always mean excess. You don't need the biggest goat or the most expensive genetics to have a productive, healthy herd. Sometimes the best breeds are the ones that fit their environment so well they barely need us at all. And that's saying something. Now, if you're wondering what kind of environment these goats truly prefer, think challenging but not impossible. They thrive in hilly, forested terrain, and that means they like to climb and forage and navigate tricky ground. They can handle high humidity and heavy rain, conditions that would frustrate many of the other goats in the world, including Arwen. She's a fainter. I don't like the rain. But they're not built for freezing cold. Okay, they like a warm, wet climate, and they're nearly unbeatable in that climate for resilience. You bring them up where I am, however, and they probably wouldn't make it. We're too cold, too much of the year. They're not designed for this climate. So this breed is also a lesson in picking the breed that is right for your climate. Okay? And while the Assam Hill Goat doesn't get much global appreciation, it plays a quiet but essential role in preserving local biodiversity. These goats are genetically unique to their region, shaped by centuries of adaptation. Losing them would mean losing a piece of that agricultural heritage, the kind that's impossible to recreate in a lab or replace with an imported breed. That's part of why I love learning about breeds like this. They're a reminder that every corner of the world has its own livestock success stories. Animals that have evolved hand in hand with the people who raise them. The Assam Hill Goat isn't fancy, but it's an incredible example of what happens when nature and necessity work together. If you ever find yourself looking for a goat breed that can handle a little chaos, adapt to less than perfect conditions, and still provide steady returns, the Assam Hill Goat deserves a spot on your radar, even if it's just as inspiration, because that literally is probably going to be all it is. It's not a goat you'll see in every pasture, but it does represent exactly the kind of sustainability and toughness small farms anywhere can benefit from. So the next time you're going to add a goat to your herd and you need something durable, think about these guys, not as a potential addition to your farm, you're not likely to find them, but as an inspiration for what goats can be and what you might be able to find if you look hard enough. Honestly, I think it's kind of refreshing, their toughness and their ability to thrive without a lot of human help. Not every goat needs to be a high-maintenance diva. Some are just quiet workers, perfectly suited to their place in the world. The Assam Hill Goat is one of those, humble, resilient, and genuinely impressive in its own understated way. That's about it for me here today at Andersen Acres. If you enjoyed learning about the Assam Hill Goat, let me know down in the comments. Or tell me which rare breed you'd like to hear about next. Thanks for spending a little time here on the farm here with me. We'll see you tomorrow.